And I'm here with Louis Mandylor, the star of The Flood and a bunch of other debt collector. I've over the last couple of years, I've become a real big fan of yours with Scott Adkins movies. Debt Collectors I've seen his stuff before that, but Debt Collectors was the one that I'm like, who the hell is this guy? I love him. And then he started
Thanks,
popping up
man.
in other Scott Adkins movies, and then here you are in The Flood. So I
Yeah,
was pretty excited to see that. So thank you for coming on the show.
no problem. Thank you for having me. And yeah, that collector's really set a little pace change for my career. It was a blessing to be a part of that with Scott and Jesse Johnson.
Yeah, you had actually a really good interview with Scott Adkins has his own YouTube page, and you were on that, and that was kind of fun.
Yeah,
Well, watching you guys go back and forth, you seem to love working to it. And I had actually even talking with Brandon and Casper, like everyone just loves your ass, and so do I. So.
that's because you haven't spoken to everyone just yet. You know what I mean? But so far, we're just picking the right peeps. But you mentioned some good people. I feel the same about them actually. So that's nice to know that they're speaking kindly of me. They're wonderful human beings, all of them.
Yeah, and I've noticed like you got a bunch of projects coming up. Like you're working, you've worked with Casper Van Dien before, worked with Scott Adkins, working with Brandon Slagle a lot.
Yeah.
Both in acting and directing and writing. Like you seem to have like a really nice kind of community of filmmakers going on. You guys
Yeah.
just seem to work a lot, which has to be exciting and fun for you.
It is. It's great. Brandon and I go way back. Great guy. I remember he woke me up many years ago at 6:30 at my apartment to do a pickup shot for a William Kaufman movie that we did a year before that called The Brave. And we laugh about that because he literally came into my home and the shot was me waking up and exiting that would cut into the balcony. And he came in and I was actually asleep. I said, buddy, set up and wake me up when you press roll. And he literally woke me up and I woke up 5 times. And then he says, I got it. I said, I'm going back to bed. So that's how we met. It was great. Then we've shot a few movies. Breakout is one of them. Battle of Saipan, if you haven't seen it, it's an unbelievable film. And Brandon just destroyed it. He did so great. And from that point on, we started, like you said, this little collaboration with Brandon, myself, and Damon Hillen Entertainment with from Battle of Saipan and 3 Days of Malay and then Operation Bloodhunt. It's kind of a trilogy that we did together, and I'm real proud of all of them. And Brandon's great.
Since you guys work together so often, it was like he's director, you're director, both writers, and like how do you decide? Oh, I'm going to direct this one, or no, you should direct this one. I'll write this one, or that. How does that kind of conversation happen?
It just things fall into place, and Brandon's a filmmaker, and he's a great filmmaker, and we work together as an actor filmmaker so much that on set when he's helming, it's great because we both have the same sensibilities in filmmaking. And for example, on Breakout, one example of many things that happen per day, but we got there and I said, I love the casting for all the villains. And they were all over 6'2" and weighed 250 pounds. They were all monsters, man. And here's little old me in this jail, and I have to kill all of them to save my son. So we had a little ciggy. We went for a walk, and we do this many times a day. I said to him, look, man, as always, let's try and make no cheese. Get rid of the cheese grinders, we call them, the cheese grinding time, to get rid of all the cheese we can and make the scene work for both of our sensibilities. And the first thing about Breakout was they're all monsters and we don't want to do any cheesy fight scenes. We have to be really smart in making this movie so the audience believes that this kind of small man compared to them, who's just intelligent and he's a badass, outsmarts them and out viscerals them in a sense, rather than these, spinning back kicks and punching these big guys in the face, which would never, ever happen. So we problem solve and we work really, really good together. As far as who directs, when we were in Thailand, we were making Battle of Saipan, and the producer said, because Brandon was busy, and he said, can you direct the next one? Because he noticed that I like to direct. And I said, if Brandon writes it, I'll do it. And then Brandon agreed to write it. And then we did a little trilogy after that. So it just the relationship has fallen into place. And he's a great writer-director. I write stories, but I don't write scripts. Don't like it and don't think I'm great at it. That to preface the script and to close the script, as in final notes, I think I'm pretty damn good at that. But Brandon writes the movies, and I think you need writers, man. He's great.
Yeah. And how's the writer's strike affecting? Because like pretty much everyone in this movie is prolific as hell. Like you look at your IMDb credits, it's just nuts how you have even time to talk to me today. So thanks for that. But how does the writer's strike work with people like you that are just like constantly going?
Well, I've got time to talk to you today.
Oh, well, there you go.
It slowed us all down, man. Yeah, it's a shame. It slowed us all down, but it's got to be done. The righteousness must be served. And, without writers, we truly are in a big, we're in big trouble. So fix it and let's move on. Everyone's got to get what they deserve, but it has slowed down. Focusing now on some independent films with my partner, Mark Klebanoff at Odyssey Motion Pictures, because I also have a production company I'm a partner in called Odyssey Motion Pictures. My partner's Mark Klebanoff, and we just put and sold As Good as Dead with Michael J. White. It's our first bigger one we released, and now we're planning on doing 2 or 3 more the next year. So we're slating them up. I wish I could talk about one, but I can't just yet. But it's going to be pretty epic.
All right. Hopefully, you can get Michael J. White and Scott Adkins and yourself all together to return for another Undisputed movie. That would be freaking sweet.
Well, I'm not in them, but I'd love to get in the fray there. That'd be great there too.
Well, they were in it. We need Louis Mandylor in there because
we need Stu in there. Stu from the Collectors has to.
That was the missing sauce.
Yeah, right.
But actually, I guess speaking of your production company, I always my co-host has a segment, What's in the Box segment, that we have people put movies in that we'll later pull out and watch. Movies that you like that you don't think people get enough eyes on, but also maybe add another one of yours, maybe a movie from your production company or a movie that you worked on that's like, it was really good and just no one saw it, and I really wish they would.
Oh, interesting. What is that called? With something in a box?
It's What's in the Box. So Bruce will just write down whatever movie you say, put it in the box, and then each week we pull a movie out of the box. Louis Mandylor picked this movie, so next week we'll be watching whatever you tell us.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you one off the top of my head. It's one of mine that no one's ever seen. I'm actually going to give a call to the wonderful Mamie Jean and see what we can do with it. But it's called In the Eyes of the Killer / Blindsided. And it was made quite a few years ago. But, look, man, that's why I'll say it. That's why my partner and I opened up this production sales company for independent grassroots filmmakers like I was once. No one ever sees a cent back. Everyone expenses them. And, it was just horrible business ethics from all these middle of the road sales companies. So we opened up our company to pay the independent filmmaker. You know what I'm saying? So I call it the dark side sales. So unfortunately, this movie Blindsided didn't get any legs, but it's one of the best things I've ever made. It's my homage to Hitchcock. And if you can find it somewhere, Blindsided, In the Eyes of the Killer, and if you can't, I'll send it to you.
All right. Yeah, I'll definitely take you up on that.
And yeah.
And then what's like not necessarily one you were in, but just like a personal movie that you love growing up, or you just love watching in the 3 minutes of the day that you have time to do so.
Well, the whole favorite movie questions, I'm hopeless at that because I'll be driving and I always have the greatest answers, and I have a litany of films that I could run off to you. But right now I've got none except one. I haven't seen it in a long time, but I think this is an underrated film, and I think Jon Voight should have won an Academy Award for this. It's my opinion. I'm entitled to it. It's called Runaway Train. You'll see Jon Voight and Eric Roberts at their peak. The director, the Polish director, I forget, Artanovsky or something, great director. And the film, if you want reality and nuanced performance, visceralness and honesty, Runaway Train is one of the best jailhouse movies, Escape from Jailhouse movie. And my dear friend and mentor, John P. Ryan. How can I forget John? He was my second acting teacher when I got to Los Angeles, and my dearest friend, an incredible human being. So Runaway Train, have you seen that one?
No, I haven't. I think I believe Bruce has. I might be confusing that with Silent Running, but yeah, that's I know Runaway Train has definitely come up on the show a couple times, so we'll be happy to watch that one. Awesome. Well, Louis Mandylor, big fan of yours, and thank you for coming on the show. Everyone go check out The Flood. It is on demand and digital in select theaters on July 14th. And yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you, my friend. Have a great day. Appreciate you.